Welcome to this tutorial. I'm glad to have you on board. Today we are going to discuss about what you need to run PHP script. So in order for you to be maybe a programmer, a web developer, PHP is a language that you can't miss. It's a language that is widely used. Talk of these organizations like Facebook, talk of these big website, for example, like Wikipedia. They have PHP embedded in it, and therefore there is need for you to be able to understand how is this particular script written, so that you can go to be effective in many ways. Now in this particular area we are just going to talk about, now that you want to begin the journey of how to develop a web application, how can you be able to make a successful program using PHP. Now without wasting time, let's dive in, and then we see what is entailed in this particular area. Now we are going to discuss first what PHP is all about. So PHP in full means hypertext processor. So this is a server-side language that is used to produce dynamic web content. So there is that aspect of how you want the users to be able to interact with your web application. And therefore, in order for you to bring that kind of dynamic nature of it, you need to have PHP embedded in it. It is also designed when an event happens with the web pages, like clicking a link, getting form data, all those kind of things. And therefore, by the end of the day, you realize that in a dynamic nature of every website is dependent on this thing. Now, it is also efficient in the server side. And therefore, apart from being efficient in the server side, it is used in multiple platforms, not only one platform but multiple platforms. Therefore, we have many platforms. For example, we have Windows environment, we have good Linux environment, we have Mac OS environment. This particular application can run in all those applications, in all those platforms, and therefore it is one of the best language that you can be able to learn. Example, we have said that we have got an application like Facebook, which is powered using this programming language. And also PHP has got a very active community that can really help you to be able to understand how PHP works, and therefore it is not going to be very difficult to get the resources that can be able to help you to move in this particular journey. Now let's when you talk about PHP, there is no way you can fail to talk about a web server, or there's no way you can fail to talk about the database, because we have said that it's a server-side language, and therefore it is connected always to the database. And therefore one of the database that you're going to work on in a series, in this series of PHP MySQL, we are going to have a series of these two languages. You realize that interactivity is dependent on these two languages. Now when you talk about MySQL, basically MySQL is an open source relational database that uses SQL. Remember, SQL is a language, is a structured query language, and therefore MySQL is just but an open source software that was a relational database that was made available to anybody who want to learn this particular language called SQL. Now SQL, you use SQL basically to send and receive data using specialized command. So we are going to look in this particular series of PHP, we are going to look on how you can go to execute various MySQL commands. And therefore if you want to learn more about MySQL, kindly go to my YouTube channel, and just you'll be able to see more of that information that is embedded in that particular area. Now what do you need in order for you to run PHP? The first thing that you need is a web server. Okay, so a web server basically is the one that runs the PHP. So this particular server is supposed to be installed on your local machine in order for the web browser to pass or to process PHP script. So it is not possible for you to be able to process PHP script without having the web server embedded, or without having the web server installed in your local machine. Now examples of these web servers, when you talk about web servers, there are many in the market, but we have got XAMPP, and we have also WAMP. These are some of the applications that can be used in the Windows environment, but if you are using Mac OS, then you can be able to use MAMP. Okay, so these are the versions of web servers that you can be able to use. Why do we need a web server? A web server is basically going to help you to run PHP scripts in a local machine. Okay, before you can be able to upload the final product on your hosting company, it is important that you can be able to test that application on your machine before you can be able to upload it. Now, when you talk about I'll be discussing more of how you can go to host a website online in a few. But basically, what you need to know is that after you have tested that application, the next thing to do is now to upload it in a web server, in a hosting company which has got a wide space where you can go to have your web application to be accessed by everyone. Yeah. So this tool that we are going to call it a web server allows you to test your application before you can be able to take the next action, before you can be able to upload it. Now, note that every time you want to install this web server and you're going to give it a trial, every time you want to install a web server, always you are supposed to turn antivirus off, because if it is on, it is going to interfere with some of the files, or some of the files are going to be corrupted in the process. Therefore, it is required of you that you turn it off in that particular process. Now, after you have installed that, the next thing you need to install is the text editor. Now, the PHP script that you intend to write is supposed to be written in what you call the text editor. Yeah. Now, we have got many text editors in the market today. Yeah. So we have got, for example, Notepad++, we have got Sublime Text, we have got Notepad++ again, but basically I can say we have got the powerful tool that we'll be using in my subsequent videos. We call it VS Code. VS Code is so powerful in the current text editors in the market, and therefore it is one of the best to be able to use in this particular environment. Now, the last thing that you need to do in order for you to be able to run a PHP script is to start Apache to run the PHP script. So basically, when you have the WAMP server installed, or we have the XAMPP installed, it has got what we call the web services. Now, these web services, you cannot be able to run the PHP unless you have started these services. So there is a lot of services that are going to be embedded in this thing. Okay, so it is very important that you get to know how to do that. Then after that, after you have done all this, then you can be able now to go to your web browser, and then you'll be able to see the PHP script running. Now let's start on how to install the web server. So you just go to your browser. You just go to your browser, and then you search WAMP server. Okay, you just go to your browser and then you search WAMP server. So I'm just going to write there WAMP server. Okay, so after you do that, you just press enter. Then it will be able to display to you this particular platform. So the next thing to do is just click on this first option that you have been given. So when you click on this first option, it is going to ask you to download. So you just go where it is written download. So you click on this button, it is going to start downloading. I've already downloaded this, and therefore I'm not going to repeat to download it. So can you be able to download? Click on download. Okay, so I'll go to my downloads. In the download section, I should be able to see that file in there. So I have got download section, I have program file. Inside this program file, I have it here. So I have got WAMP server already installed. I already downloaded. Now the next thing to do is to turn off the Windows Defender. So how do you turn off the Windows Defender? You just click on this notification tray, and then you go on this particular icon. You can see here we are saying Windows Security. So what are you going to do? You are going to right click, and then you can go to this particular option, check for protection update. So you just click on it. Alternatively, you can just go to this icon at the corner here. You click on this icon and then you go to all settings. You go to all settings. So when you are in this all settings, you click on the you can search, maybe you can search here the Windows Defender. So what you're interested with is just to make sure that you turn off the Windows Defender. So it will have to search through, and then it will give us the output. So you can see it has already given us some output here. So what you're going to do is that we are going to have what we call the Windows firewall and network protection. We have got the Windows Defender firewall. So I can click on this option, then we see what is going to be displayed. Yeah. Okay, so it will load up and then it will go to where you say turn Windows Defender firewall off or on. So you click on this option. So you can see at the moment it is Windows Defender firewall status is on, but if you want to turn it off, you just click here and then you're being told that it is not recommended, and that is exactly what we want to do at the moment because we want to install that application there. So that is okay, just turn it off. You can as well turn it off here, and then you can be able to proceed to the next option. Now after you have done all that, you have turned the Windows Defender, the next thing to do is now to double click on this application here so that you can be able to install. So basically you just double click on it. I've already installed on my PC, but if you double click on it, it is going to prompt you on how you're going to install it. Yeah, how you're going to install it. Yeah. Okay, so that is the first prompt. After double clicking on it, it is going to ask you to select the language. You click OK. Then you'll have to agree on the terms, accept the agreement. Then after you click on it, you click next. It is just going to guide you on what you're supposed to do up to the end. So I will not proceed from this point because it is now going to the next stage of just installing the application. After doing that, I'll just cancel it because I've already installed. If you have not installed, kindly just follow the prompts up to the end, and then you will have your worm server installed. Yeah. Okay, so the next thing that you want to show you is how to download the text editor. So the next thing, you just click on this new tab here. You click on this new tab at that particular point. That particular tab, you just search VS Code. VS Code. Automatically you start typing it, you realize you have got displayed here. So you just click on it. Then it will select, it is going to give us the option here, VS Code Studio, Visual Studio Code code editor. So after that, you just click on downloads. So you load up, it will load up, and then it will give you this option. You click on Windows if you are using Windows. If you are using Mac, you are going to use this one. If you are using Linux, there are 3 options in this particular page. Now you can just click on any. So for me, I'm using Windows. If I click here, I'm going to get that download for Windows. And if you're using Mac, you click on Mac, and then you just install that particular application. Now I'm not going to download it because I've already downloaded. So if you have not downloaded, kindly click on this option, and then you can be able to start. Yeah. Okay, so it has downloaded and it is here. So this is the application. Okay, so when I double click on it, it is going to allow me to install it. It is Visual Studio User Setup. Okay, so you'll follow the prompt. Yeah, so let it loads up first. So it is going to ask you for the agreement. I accept the agreement. You click on this, and then you go next, like that, and then it will just install for you. So if I do this and then I proceed, you realize that it is going to install it again. I've already done that, and therefore I'm not going to continue. You just continue up to the end, and then you'll be able to to get the Visual Studio Code installed. Now when you go back to your Windows application, when you go back to your Windows desktop, you should be able to see that application here. So this is the Visual Studio Code I've been talking about, and then we also have the WAMP server. So if I can search here the WAMP server in my search button here, if I want to get the WAMP server, I can just search it here in this particular area. Just write WAMP server, WAMP server. So the moment I type WAMP, it's supposed to display to me the response. Yeah, so it is loading up. WAMP server. Alternatively, I can just click on this start button here. Okay, so let me search it here, WAMP. You can see by default it is displayed there. So if you just open that application now, so it will load up, and then it is going to display to you the what you need to do in this particular case. So yeah, you just say yes. Yeah, so it will load up. So it will just say be patient until it finish. So it will display to you that all services is running. So after you do that, you just go to your notification tray, and in the notification tray you should be able to see your home server turn green. So if it is not green, it means that all services have not been loaded correctly. But if it turns to be green like this, it means all services are ready for you to be able to use your WAMP server for PHP coding. So that is how you can be able to set up the environment for running the PHP code. And therefore just follow the prompts, make sure that you download the software that are needed, ensure you test the application, you test the WAMP, the server, the web server, if it is running, before you can be able to do anything else. Now thank you so much for listening and watching. Kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel to support me, and also click on the notification button so that when I'm going to create the next video, you'll be informed. Thank you so much, and bye bye for now.